I found Garry Shider, Larry Mosson, who was one of the most awesome rhythm guitar players in the land. He did a bunch of work for George, which he got no credit for, okay?
He and Tal,
on
Larry
America East is Young.
Larry Mosson?
Larry Mosson.
Yeah.
Cardell Mosson's brother. United Soul, yeah.
I like
So
somebody
now
tell
when they
me
left, when Billy and them left, I was like the only person walk around here that, like he said at the time, to declare myself, well, I know I'm the only real funketeer in Plainfield here. But I missed them. They were gone after the Testify came out. Billy would, you know, I would miss waking up and playing. I said, I gotta find somebody. I found Garry Shider, Larry Mosson, who was one of the most awesome rhythm guitar players in the land. He did a bunch of work for George, which he got no credit for, okay?
He and Tal,
on America East is Young.
Larry Mosson?
Larry Mosson.
Yeah.
Cardell Mosson's brother.
He and Tal Ross were, as far as like style, lifestyle, attitude, and then on into the musicianship, showmanship, identical. And crazy? I think that a new word would, I mean, I didn't know what insane meant until I met them. And I mean, insane was a big word. I knew crazy, but I didn't know insane until I met Tal and Larry Mosson, Cool Pop. Because them brothers was out to lunch, all the way out to lunch. On a permanent vacation, they had a residency in out to lunch land.
And
What
before
about
that,
Larry
condominium.
we had
Where's he at now? Larry Mosson.
oh, he's down in North Carolina. We had a group before then called Don Darnell and the Double O Souls. And yeah, right here. That's Dirkie and Donnie's spot.
Dirkie and Donnie,
that was my first road experience. But as we came back, Billy and all us got together. So after Billy and you know, I think it was during the Testify time that Testify was hot. I used to see Billy maybe every weekend. Then it started, the record got hot, and I wouldn't see Billy for months, and I missed him. So I started a group called United Soul, which consisted of Cardell Mosson was on bass, who went on to be a renowned member of Funkadelic, and Garry Shider, who is now doing a great deal of work. But in the interim of picking them up, they knew nothing truly, but he's a great artist. But I like brought him in and said, this is the way you gotta do it, man. This is funky. You gotta really attack it and be funky. What they were doing was playing, you know, doo-wop stuff. And I took them from doo-wop stuff into the hardcore, you know, let's do some Black Sabbath and, you know, let's do some of that. Get into that and then mix it with your R&B and you come up with a whole new creative thing. So in the course, United Soul became very, very popular here. George came through. Ron Scribner came through, who was affiliated with George at the time, and we were playing over here in a club. So George didn't come back with him at the time. Ron Scribner came through. He saw us and said, I want to put you on, take you guys out of here into Toronto. What I didn't know at the time, this was going to be the beginning of the end. We got to Toronto. We worked for a good little while. They kept us in a nice little place there. They took us in the studio on Toronto Sound where we recorded This Broken Heart. And then on the other side, I had came home, and when they did the other session, I think it was Tyrone Lampkin played the other song that was on the 45. Okay, now at that time, during that time, they would have a conflict. Eddie and Billy would have a conflict with George. So Eddie and Billy pulled out. They took the place we had away. They took the gigs. They stopped the gigs to make us, to me, I felt as though they were saying, if they suffer enough, they'll go for anything that happens, which we did. In turn, he came and got Boogie and Garry and said, I just want to use these guys to replace Eddie and Billy. But at the time, we was beginning or in negotiations with Westbound to sign a deal. So through the grapevine, or however it got back to us, they were more interested in dealing with us because we were a solid unit. We had the flavor of funk from being here. Right. So they said, well, look, instead of wasting time doing this, let's get with these guys here. Right. And spend the time with them. The next thing I know, United Soul was no more.